Now, when is this marriage happening?
We are looking at the middle of next year, Tati.
That long? What do you have to say about this?
No problem, Uncle. We can do it in a day.
Oh?
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking. Join the People's Bank Digital Banking revolution now.
Both the loan and the wedding in one day.
Must be your lucky day.
People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
In a few moments, the news.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
.45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The Finance Minister says that the government has lost a total revenue of 1,600 billion rupees this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The teachers and principals will receive the proposed 5,000 rupees interim allowance with the September salary. The International Journalists' Day is celebrated today. People are requested to act with patience to save the country from the pandemic. Almost all population above 30 years has received the first dose of the COVID vaccine. News overseas, hardliners get key post in new Taliban government. In sports, after 8 years, Sri Lanka clinched the ODI series against South Africa 2-1. And those are the headlines. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa told Parliament yesterday that the government has lost total revenue of 1,600 billion rupees this year due to the COVID pandemic. The minister also said 70% of the indirect tax revenue has been recorded since the current lockdown was imposed. He said the revenue received from the Inland Revenue Department, Customs and Excise Department had gone down drastically because of the lockdown. Meanwhile, the finance bill, which was debated in Parliament yesterday, has been passed with amendments by a majority vote. The second reading of the bill was passed with 134 parliamentarians voting in favour and 44 voting against the bill. The finance bill enables individuals to voluntarily disclose undisclosed taxable supplies, income and assets, which are required to be publicised under some laws. Minister Ramesh Patirana says that he expects that the teachers and principals will return to work, accepting the solution given by the government for their salary issue. Addressing the cabinet briefing yesterday, Minister Patirana noted that the teachers and principals would receive the proposed interim allowance with the September salary. The government solution to the teacher-principal salary issue was announced at the meeting, which clearly stated that the salary increments that the government could provide under the current economic and financial situation. It was known that there will be an increase in the basic salary from 17% to 26% for the various levels of the teacher service and the principal service. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking.
The International Journalists' Day is celebrated today. Czechoslovakian journalist Julius Vucic, who wrote bravely against fascism, was killed by Nazi rulers on a day like today in 1933. The day has been declared after his name to mark his bravery and press freedom. Journalists over the world mark this day to honor of the journalists who sacrificed their lives for press freedom. The Mahanayaka Thero of Askari Chapter, Most Venerable Varakaguda Jnanaratna Thero, says that the people should act with patience to save the country from the pandemic. He said that everyone should be united to overcome the challenges, leaving aside race, religion, political and other differences. The Thera also said that the people should follow health guidelines to get the results of the efforts of health officials and the government to control the pandemic. The epidemiology unit of the Health Ministry reports that 2,964 more people have tested positive for COVID-19 in Sri Lanka yesterday, moving the confirmed tally of coronavirus infection in the country so far to 471,863. A total of 388,278 recoveries have been confirmed in Sri Lanka since the outbreak of the pandemic last year. As per official data, more than 73,000 active cases are currently under medical care at hospitals, treatment centres and home. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka registered 184 new COVID-related fatalities confirmed by the Director General of Health Services on Monday. The new fatalities pushed the official death toll from the virus outbreak in Sri Lanka to 10,504. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says it will be possible to lift the present quarantine curfew and travel restrictions after achieving vaccination targets. He mentioned this before a group of Russian journalists. The minister is in Russia at present to take part in the tourism promotion program organized by the Tourism Development Authority. He said that the tourists can visit 6,000 places of historic value and entertainment in Sri Lanka. And that's local news.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Health Promotion Bureau says that 80% of the population above 30 years has been fully vaccinated, while 100% of the population above 30 years has received the first jab of the COVID vaccine. Health Promotion Bureau Director Dr. Ranjit Batuantadu said 60% of the entire population has already received the first jab, while 40% of the population has been fully vaccinated through the vaccination drive, which is progressing rapidly, covering all parts of the country. And that was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Live.
Consultant plastic surgeon of the Gaul Karapitiya Teaching Hospital, Dr. Satish Vijayamana, says that there is an increase in burn injuries in the pediatric population since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at a media conference held yesterday at the Health Promotion Bureau, Dr. Vijayamana said that the injuries include flame and contact burns. He stressed that most thermal injuries in children occur in the home setting and preventable. Everyday activities and objects in and around the home frequently associated with burn injuries include hot water for steaming, bathing, hot drinks or foods, or hot surfaces in the kitchen. Dr. Vijayamana emphasized the importance of making the home environment safe for children as families continue to spend more time there. That was Watch Light.
World News.
In the headlines, hardliners get key post in new Taliban government. Mexico, abortion in landmark ruling. Vietnamese man gets 5 years in jail for spreading COVID. And those are the headlines of the world news. The Taliban have announced an interim government in Afghanistan, declaring the country an Islamic emirate. The new cabinet, entirely male, is made up of senior Taliban figures, some of whom are notorious for attacks on US forces over the last 2 decades. It will be led by Mullah Mohammed Hassan, one of the movement's founders, who is on UN blacklist. The interior minister is the feared FBI wanted leader of Haqqani Militant Group in Afghanistan. Mexico's Supreme Court has ruled that the criminal penalties for terminating pregnancies are unconstitutional. The ruling for northern state of Coahuila prevents women from being prosecuted for getting an abortion. Abortion is currently severely restricted in all but 4 of the country's states. A Vietnamese man has been sentenced to jail for 5 years for flouting COVID-19 rules and spreading the virus. A court found Lee Wan Tree guilty of transmitting dangerous infectious diseases to 8 people, one of whom eventually died. Until recently, Vietnam had been largely successful in keeping COVID out of control, or COVID out with the tight restrictions. But infections have surged since June, with an outbreak fueled by more contagious Delta variant. And that's world news. In development news, the Cabinet has granted approval to implement the proposal on the establishment of 5 technology parks. The parks will be set up in Galle, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura, Kandy and Batticaloa districts. The projects were proposed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa in his capacity as the Minister of Technology through the 2021 budget. And that was development news. And in sports, Sri Lanka's fine performance helped to outplay South Africa by 78 runs in the third and final deciding one-day international at R. Premdasa Stadium in Colombo yesterday. The Lankans also went on to clinch the ODI series 2-1 and collected some valuable points in the IOC World Cup Super League tournament. Sri Lanka's total of 203 for 9 was more than enough for them to turn the game in their favour as their spinners played havoc with the South African batting. Debutant Mahesh Theekshana took a wicket in his very first ball after Dushmantha Chameera and Praveen Jayavikrama had struck early as the Proteas were skittled out for 125 in 30 overs. And that was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The government has decided to impose an import tax on big onions in order to protect local farmers, said. According to the Minister of Agriculture Mahindananda Alugamage, an import tax of 40 rupees will be imposed in a kilogram of big onion. And that was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Alugamage says the government will give 2,771 acres of land coming under 2 state agencies to 5 private companies to start commercial dairy farms. The land will be given on 30 years lease to 5 companies, including Access Agro Private Limited. The firms will invest 8 billion rupees and import 4,200 milk cows for the farms. And that was economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report.
The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in Sabaragamuwa western and northwestern provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Kool and Matara districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in Ua province and in Batiklo and Ampara districts, particularly in the evening or night. The finance minister says that the government has lost total revenue of 1,600 billion rupees this year due to COVID-19 pandemic. The teachers and principals will receive the proposed 5,000 rupees interim allowance with the September salary. The International Journalist Day is celebrated today. People are requested to act with patience to save the country from the pandemic. Almost all the population above 30 years has received the first jab of the COVID vaccine. News overseas, hardliners get key post in new Taliban government. In sports, after 8 years, Sri Lanka clinched the ODI series against South Africa 2-1. With that, we conclude this morning news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.